We're gonna fire it up, guys.
Uh-huh. Are we doing some ready or not action after this, by the way?
Kind of up to you, isn't it?
Bro, they have 2 new guns.
Two new guns. Can't be wrong. With that, welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. We're here to talk about shooting.
Oh boy.
On deck tonight, Mr. Park.
Hello.
Mr. Kim. The Korean brothers are back, aren't they?
The Korean American brothers.
Korean
yes.
brother.
Well, guys, well, you know the deal. Everybody comes on with a topic, something they want to talk about. Who'd like to go first?
I can start.
Look at that, Mr. Kim.
Yes.
Tell me something good, sir.
So I recently posted a new drill. It's called In and Out.
Well, hold on. You posted more than one new drill recently on Training Group.
It's true. Yeah.
So you have recoil confirmation.
And Step Back was another one.
Step back, yeah.
Yeah. Some of the drills I don't post it on social media, but this one In and Out was also posted on my Instagram and Facebook.
And is this a 1 or 2 person drill?
What was that? I didn't hear it.
Just ignore him. Don't respond to him.
What's that joke about In and Out drill?
Just ignore him.
Come on, Joel.
I was gonna say it's like the burger place.
Kim ran the drill name by me. He's like, "Do you think we're gonna have problems with like patent infringement?" I'm like, "No, I don't think that's gonna be a problem, but Ben might have some jokes about it." Anyway, very sorry. Please continue, sir.
Yeah, so I wanted to introduce this drill. I mean, some of the drills I made, of course, I like all of them. But this drill, I think it's going to be helpful for any shooters, especially ammo shortage right now is pretty bad. And I think this drill is actually the least amount of round count, the drills, in terms of drills I made, I think. Well, actually, trigger brake axis, that drill actually is a little smaller round count. But this is another drill that has pretty low round count aside trigger brake exits, which is very good drill. This drill, In and Out, is very simple setup, 7 rounds total, but this drill has a lot of components to it. And this drill is something that I try to shoot recently as much as possible. First of all, yeah, the round count and ammo shortage is pretty bad, but this drill tests a lot. So this drill is not something that I would recommend people who just started shooting. This drill definitely is something for people who know how to manage the recoil and know how to move and also know how to hit it right with proper confirmation, because first of all, the setup of the drill is from the shooting position, you have one big popper or something similar to it at 15 yards. So big popper or 8-inch circle plate will be fine. So 15-yard shot, I mean, that's not the most difficult shot in the sport for sure. But that's a shot where people wants to kind of speed things up. But in order to hit that, so for example, confirmation 2 or something like that, a 15-yard big popper, you have to maintain precision and things like that. And also there's a little bit of wide transition going on. So basically there's one big popper, 15-yard down range, and one target on the 180, close to 180. Of course, don't set it up past 180 and potentially dangerous situation, but some close to 180 degree. Then now you're transitioning 90 degrees, so you shoot the steel 90 transition and then shoot one open paper as you are backing out or going into position. So this is where the term In and Out coming from. So you shoot the steel target out of the position while shooting an open target, go to the other side of the wall, and then shoot the steel again. And then now, if you were backing out, now you have to enter shooting on the move and then shoot another steel. So there's in and out going on. You're engaging those targets, but then there's wall in the middle. The wall section, I used two no shoots to kind of not have an entire wall there. So no shoot to no shoot wall. I have 3 yards distance of movement. So once you shoot that open target, first of all, if you are not moving fast enough, now it's going to take a long time to get to the other side of the wall and then shoot the steel target. So you have to move very, very aggressively. But if you engage too late on that open target, you may end up going to the other side of the wall and the steel target is waiting for you to shoot. So you need to quickly finish that engagement for the open target and then transition to the steel so that by the time the steel target comes out of the wall, you have to be ready to shoot, basically track the target. So just by describing this drill, there's a lot of components, but it tests so much with only 7 rounds. This is a very good challenge to kind of test more complex drill where you have to think about shooting on the move, you have to think about proper amount of confirmation. Now you have to think about tracking the target when it comes out, things like that. So I really like this drill, and I got a lot of feedbacks, very good feedbacks. And of course, you can modify this drill a little bit. And then if you set up open target on both 180 side, you can only work on going in all the time. So still move into target, still move into target if you have 2 open targets on both sides. So if your weakness, a lot of the people actually I see, some shooters are very good at shooting on the move forward, but some shooters are not strong at shooting on the move backward. If that's the case, you can set up 2 targets on both 180 and you can shoot steel target, backward movement on the open, steel target, backward movement on the open on the other side kind of thing. So you can focus on one direction if you wanted to as well. But this is, in a way, it's a good drill to develop shooting on the move as well. But it's the main component of this drill is to be able to execute shooting on the move fast so that you are able to hit the steel ready when it comes out of the wall.
I like it. Of course, I have a lot of follow-up questions, but I'm thinking this should be a drill of the month for PSTG, so I'll just wait and interrogate you at that point.
So Mr. Kim, just to talk about the tracking component, which I think would be super difficult on that drill. I haven't shot it yet myself. I'm excited to try it. Don't get me wrong. We've been doing track the A zone in my skills and drills classes, and it's been very useful.
The track the A zone drill is a little bit simpler than in and out drill actually, because
very much so. Yes.
Yeah. In and out drill, as I described, the transition between the steel and the open target is 90 degrees. But track the A zone drill, the transition itself is not that huge. So now it's challenging. You have to do wider transition as you are moving out of position or moving into the next position. So when it comes to just stationary wide transition versus moving wide transition, there's a lot more to it. And I see a lot of people already sent me, a couple people ran this drill. And then some of the shooters I saw, they were tensing up the shoulders a lot. I know that shooter, and when they do that wide transition stationary, their shoulders are pretty relaxed. But when it comes to moving and wide transition, I see some shooters tensing up the shoulders because they're trying to kick out of the position using the leg muscle, but end up using the shoulder muscle altogether. So it's very good drill to kind of separate the shoulder tension to legs as well.
You know, that's interesting you point that out because for track the A zone, we're doing it where we shoot the first shot and the last shot of the drill as well, but none of the shots in the middle. And as you walk, so track the A zone involves walking and shooting and essentially tracking A zones as you work with vision barriers.
Yeah.
Right. And what it really highlights for people is shoulder tension. That's the main point of the drill, is to have a tracking component with no shoulder tension.
Yeah. Very important key there.
Yeah. Very interesting, Kim.
I like it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Joel, what do you got, sir?
Well, I suppose a little bit of housekeeping or whatever. Ben and I are doing classes. I think I maybe mentioned this before. Doing classes together this year. So if you're interested in doing one of those, let me know. I was planning on.
Well, we had one that sold out, right?
I was going to say, I was actually planning on promoting one of the classes that we're doing together, but it's already sold out. So I guess with, I think, a waiting list. So anyway, if anyone else wants to do a Ben and Joel class, just message one of us and we can get that set up. And while I'm promoting my own stuff, I guess kind of, I want to talk about the summit, guys. We opened registration for that. Well, I guess the first place to start is what is the summit? And the summit isn't really a Ben class. It's not a Professor Kim class. It's not a Joel class. It's a class taught by a bunch of people.
And you know what? It's not even I wouldn't even call it just a class, or even like a for-profit event.
Mm-hmm.
It's not either of those things.
Like a sharing of information.
Yeah, it's kind of a get together.
Yep.
It's kind of a get together.
But there's two types of people coming to this get together. There's instructors, and then there's training group people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
This is true. I should make some of the clickety clack to look at the instructor because I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay, so anyway, instructors for this year so far confirmed: Ben, Professor Me, Andreas Yankopoulos, our homeboy John Anderson, Jared Fox, also known as Sasquatch, and Rob Epifania. And I think there might be possibility of more people. So anyway, it's always good to get the guys together, but it's also, like I said, it's just fun to share information. Everybody, kind of has something to bring to the table or something they want to train on, or you get to train, different training group members get to train with people they haven't trained with before, or meet people in person they haven't met before. So anyway, that is, I suppose, in a nutshell, the summit. It's 3 days. It's definitely not for profit. It's this year it's $250, which is not even paying the instructors what they're worth, but just basically after supplies are paid for, trying to give each of the instructors a couple $100 just as a thank you to like half comp whatever they pay for travel or airfare. What else am I missing, guys? I guess the other part to bring up is you have to be a training group member to attend. So it is just a training group event.
It's kind of a thing we try to do, like it's a thank you for the members, really.
Well, yeah,
and something fun for the instructors.
Yeah, so
kind of operates on both levels.
Last year, some of the guys, I don't know. There was some instructors last year that was their first time instructing, and I don't think they entirely knew what they were getting into, other than my word, like, trust me, it's going to be fun. You'll have a good time. And then by then, like, holy crap, that was excellent. When are we doing that again? Because yeah, of course, they're training people and they get to share, their knowledge with, like the students, I suppose. But then they're all training with each other also. And so anyway, it's just a win. Everybody seems to have a really good time. And it's fun. So anyway, if you want to sign up for that, there's more information and a link to sign up within training group. So training group members should definitely check that out.
Well, all right, time to move on.
Yes, I'm done lining my pockets with basically not-for-profit
lining
events.
Your pockets.
With not-for-profit events, exactly. Ben, I think you have a topic, sir.
I do. So I went to Texas last week for some classes, and this is I think it's my 10th year consecutively going to the Austin area for classes at the end of February, nice. Which is good. But oftentimes it can be a little bit cold there, and I've gotten some experience kind of teaching out when it's really cold. And you know what? I found the kind of the secret to cold weather performance, guys. You ready for it?
Oh yeah.
Tell me more.
Yes, it's the long underwear. It really is. Like keeping your core temperature as warm as possible. Like that's really the thing. And I think people think the key is keeping your hands warm, like with hand warmers. And I don't really think that's the move. Well, I mean, those are nice. Don't get me wrong, but long underwear really keeps your core temperature up. At least that's what I found. I mean, I think I was wearing 4 layers most of the week there. It was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It was quite the experience. It's I think the coldest week I've had that I can remember.
Oh baby.
Yeah. I mean, as far as being outside teaching the whole time.
No, I understand.
I don't know.
Any secrets or about like as far as maintaining grip? Obviously, when your hands get cold, it's like tougher to grip your gun. Any suggestions, takeaways, thoughts? Well,
you still need to use Pro Grip or whatever your grip enhancer is. I don't think you really get out of that. as it gets colder, it just gets harder. Honestly, there's no way around it. And it gets tough enough where it's like you can't tell the difference between trigger freeze induced by being over tense or trigger freeze induced by having your hand be so cold it doesn't function properly. It gets hard to tell.
Actual frozen trigger.
Yes, literal trigger freeze.
Gotcha.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, there's really not a way around it. It just starts to suck. One day it didn't get above freezing for a day, and that was when there was a lot of trigger freeze. I'll put it that way.
I can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I've been doing since 2017, I think, is in the wintertime when it snows, at least like 2 days in the snow, I force myself to go out and shoot in the snow and cold without pro grip, actually, to induce low friction on my hands, because when it's cold, my hands are very, very slippery. And back in 2017 is where I started working very heavy on recoil management. And before, I had my hands slipping around every shot, like grip twisting around kind of thing happened. And then 2017 in the snow, I started shooting. And that's when I started really figuring out how to like not use much friction for my grip technique, so that in my winter time, when I shoot, I don't want to have my support hand, especially support hand, like slipping around or around the grip. And in Recoil Management Series video on PSTG, the grip part of it, I kind of talk about how you can use your support hand index finger tip to hook it on top of your firing hand joint, the middle finger with the index finger kind of thing. So I kind of hook it and then press it against the bottom rather than having it on the side of it. Because like by physics, if the force is being applied perpendicular to the ground, now a little bit nerdy here. So basically when the force is happening 90 degrees to the flat surface, no friction is required. That's how we can just stand still on the ice. But if we are applying any sideways force, we start slipping around. So that's when I realized, okay, I need to like hook it on the top surface of my firing hand with the index fingertip kind of thing. So I still shoot in the winter. Like this year actually was more than before shooting in the snow without pro grip, but I can still shoot it without grip, like shifting around. So it's a good place to work on frictionless grip. So
do you also change your direction of your grip at all, Professor? Like more front to back or anything like that? Are you changing it during that time?
In the winter time, so one thing I had to change also, so other than the finger hooking thing, the support hand, placement is pretty important. If the support hand, if this really depends on the grip shape. If you are using like one of those palm swell, you're out of luck, because palm swell is so contoured. There's no way you can apply the force in one direction because it's contoured. A lot of the grips I use is basically factory spec, no palm swell. So in that flatter surface, it's less apparent, but there's a way that you have to make sure the palms are contacting on the right surface of the gun. If there's any contour, automatically the force you're applying with the support hand is no longer perpendicular because it's so contoured. I hope that makes sense. So first of all, I don't use palm swell for that reason. In the winter especially, it's going to be even worse. So finger hooking and also support hand being more on the flatter surface. And also when I grip my support hand, I don't want to grab it diagonally with my fingertip and the palms. I want it as straight side to side vice as much as possible, if that makes sense. So instead of having finger diagonal pulling in with the fingertip, I want it more of palms kind of forward a little bit so that the level of palm and the level of fingertips are matching. In that case, it's perfect sideways rather than sideways. That sideways or diagonal, I should say, diagonal grip pressure with the support hand is really detrimental. It's going to slip around like crazy in the frictionless environment. So finger hook thing is basically applying force underneath the trigger guard, right? and also on the other side where the fingertip is meeting. So that's really determining the vertical force happening. So when the force is happening in recoil, the muzzle goes up and down, and also the gun tries to kick straight back as well. So there's torque happening, and the vertical force of the torque is covered by that finger hooking thing underneath the trigger guard, and also the sideways or kicking straight back is more or less happening with the perfect sideways vice and also front to back pressure for sure.
This is why we call you the professor.
Yeah, I find it interesting you change up your grip pressure based on the weather conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you are. It's too complicated for me.
Crush gun, run fast, Ben. That's all you need to know.
That's exactly what you need to know. Well, anyway, very interesting discussion, guys. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to benstecker.com, send me your question. Aside from that, we don't have anything else. Fantastic, guys. A real banger of a podcast.
On to video games.
Yeah.